Welcome to another edition of the Amazons and Afripreneurs interview series from the stable of Agbari Multimedia Company, where we showcase and celebrate Amazons and Afripreneurs in the Africa continent. Our mission, like I always say every week, is to inspire you into greatness as we celebrate the winning Amazons and Afripreneurs in Africa. Today, I have an amazing guest. But before then, if you have any questions at all, kindly drop them in the comment section. I will surely get back to you on them. If you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, you can also drop your questions there. My guest today, of course, again, maybe in the medical field, but he's a distinguished personality. He's distinguished himself in the medical world. And before I bring him on, let's listen to his bio.
Mr. Adewale Fashina is a seasoned clinical researcher with over 21 years of experience working within the pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and medical devices industry. Mr. Fashina holds a BSc Pharmacology degree from the University of Lagos and MSc Toxicology degree at the University of Surrey, UK. Mr. Fashina also holds a postgraduate diploma in clinical research at the Humber Guelph University, Ontario, Canada. He's the MD and CEO of Fash Pharma Incorporated, US Fash Pharma Services Nigeria Limited, a full-service contract research organization, CRO. He is a member of the Association of Clinical Research Professionals, ACRP, and the Society of Clinical Research Associates, SOCRA. His ongoing clinical research training program is helping in the capacity building efforts of the scientific and medical communities in Nigeria. He served as a World Bank consultant and training facilitator of the Advanced Training on Common Technical Document dossier preparation for the entire Nigerian pharmaceutical industry and the regulatory team of NAFDAC. He has held very senior positions in pharmaceutical companies around the world and an Afripreneur worth celebrating.
So, welcome everyone, welcome back. Let me just bring my guest on. I hope you listened to a little bit of your bio, Dr. Fashina.
Yes,
So
I did listen to it. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today on the show. And that was an intimidating bio, if you ask me, but you're in a field that I really would love to discuss some things about with someone like you, at least with your experience with the pandemic and a lot of things that we're going through now. I need an insight from someone like you. So welcome again to the show. And like I
Thank you
always
very
say
much.
on the show, we celebrate Afripreneurs and Amazons like you, to inspire our younger generation. I believe in catching them young. So
Thank you
I
very
believe
much for
in
having
catching them
me.
young, and I'd like you to inspire them. So let us know a little bit more about you that we did not take in your bio. Is there anything that we missed out on your bio that you'd like to tell us?
Okay. Well, I think the bio pretty much captured everything. But I want to thank you, especially Nima, for bringing me on to your show today. Well, let's see what else. You already know I'm an entrepreneur. But one
Yes.
thing though is that I have always, you know, um, I've always, had the interest in my country at heart. Since I've been gone from the country, and have looked for opportunities that I can bring back home. So but of course, before venturing out into the world outside of Nigeria, I have also always had that philanthropic spirit. So one thing a lot of people probably wouldn't know about me is the fact that I belong in a very exclusive, club. It's a philanthropic student body when I was at the College of Medicine, University of Lagos. It's called the KB Club. And I am the Secretary General of the Board of Trustees for the Life KB club members. Our membership goes, spans the entire globe, and it does have a lot of very notable personalities, within our fold.
But I'm aware of the KB Club. I can attest to that. I saw one of your beneficiaries once and we talked, and he talked about how helpful that club has been. That's in Akoka here in Unilag.
That's right.
So let me go straight to my questions for this interview. You've worked successfully in three different continents, as we heard from your bio, and you've made remarkable progress. How have you been able to achieve this, considering that for some people it is tough moving out of Nigeria at all? So for you to be able to move out and still make a success of whatever field or career you have, what difficulties did you have? How were you able to achieve success?
All right. Thank you for that question, Nima. It's an interesting question. Um, I don't know that I've really had any difficulty, and I think part of that reason is not unconnected with the fact that I have always planned ahead. Um, because I think I think there's a famous saying that he who how do you say it? He who fails to
First
plan
to plan,
plans to fail.
plans to fail.
And yeah, so if you plan adequately well, many of the obstacles that you may have come across along the way would be, um, for the most part, seamless. And I think that has been the case for me. As a matter of fact, I think I still have the paper that I wrote down my long-term, short-term plans from when I was back in high school. I still have that paper. It's discolored now if I were to show it to you, but that paper, has always been, what keeps me focused on what the goals are, and I've always used that as a measure of the progress that I make, check things out, sometimes even readjust it so that many of those obstacles that people typically come across, I already have them in focus and find a way around solving them, and that's what I've been able to do um, successfully, and I'm grateful that I can say that I can't really, I can't say other than the initial um, you know learning curve that everybody goes through when you leave the country. I don't know that I've actually gone through any. And moving forward again, just knowing exactly what I want to do, and breaking all those things down into daily activities that kind of gradually, step by step, move me closer to my goal. Um, so it kept me ahead of the curve pretty much. That way, I always tend to have what I need to get to the next level in hand before getting to that point where I need it.
So
Right. And
I just
that,
learned
yes.
I just learned that I have to, start to write. I am one who records, my plans, my goal, long term and short term in my head. I have never put it in writing. Always have it planned. Always sing it to myself. But now I think
Yes.
I'll put a journal. I'll start a journal. And
It's
for
great.
for someone who's demonstrated excellence as a clinical researcher and entrepreneur, do you worry about the drop in standards every day, the way standards are lowered in Nigeria particularly and Africa as a continent? And how do we bring back, how would you advise we bring back excellence into our daily lives as Africans?
Well, I think I'll speak for most Nigerians that have had an opportunity to leave the country, who looks back and see where things were when we left the country, and then where things seem to be heading at this point. And I'm sure that a lot of people would worry, and they'll have concerns. So yes, I do have concerns, with the level of yeah, with the drop in standards. But I say that with a little bit of caution, because I know that we actually have very hardworking teachers. We have very hardworking lecturers. And I say that, because I know for a fact that I can confidently say that, at least for the medical community that we have in Nigeria, we do have world class, well trained
It's a
medical
fact.
physicians. Yeah, so I know that for a fact. So but yes, maybe some of the challenges that you see, some of the drops that you see probably will, you can see them in the secondary, at the secondary stage, the secondary high school level. So once you have a very sound secondary education, I think 8 out of 10 times you will have a unique opportunity of being successful. So
So for,
what I just to
well,
add to that, yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'd like to hear what you wanted to say.
Right. I was just going to say that I think the government just needs to invest in our youth, in our secondary education. That's where I see the most decadence, the most falling standards. If the government can fund more of our secondary education, I sincerely believe that things will be a whole lot better for our people back home.
So I'll quickly go into KB Club, your participation, and how we can use this in the immediate, based on your experience. How can government in the immediate, bring back certain standards of values and morals in our society? Recently, in Nigeria, we see videos popping up of young teenagers thinking of money rituals, beheading of a young girl in Nigeria, and roasting it at a place. And the excuse was that they wanted to use her for money ritual. Some other young man invited his girlfriend, beheaded her, you know, and some young boys now going in fictitious looking outfits, some in diapers, approaching an ATM. They have been told that they go there like in that dress and money will fall on them. We have so much immorality, so much ununderstandable for me, illogical um, quest for money and the means to get it. Unlike doing the work, starting a business, going to school, learning a skill. Those are no longer alternatives. And this belief, sadly, is almost like a culture in Africa. So what can we, not just government, all of us participate, can we do in the immediate to bring back that sound morals and values that was our highest standards?
That's a very very interesting question you ask, Nima. Wow, it's a very concerning trend that you notice, in our youth. But personally, I honestly do think that you know the root of that problem can be traced back to the home, the home bringing, the upbringing of this youth. You want to see, where, I mean, how did they, I mean, what values were they raised on? So I think a lot of times that's where, sometimes they pick some of these. It may, certainly be, connected with the fact that, okay, different circumstances in the families and all of that. We probably have, single parent families where just the single mother is raising the child, and a lot of the children that you see doing these kind of things are mostly male. It's skewed towards the male child,
Yes.
and when a male child is raised, in a single family home with just the mom, oftentimes there's a challenge. It could also be because that child feels the pressure to support, his mom. Perhaps their father is just not even in their lives, even in a divorce situation or a widow situation. I mean, you certainly do have that um, work around between the couples to raise these children. But sometimes you do find that the fathers are not in their lives. So these children become, unfortunately, open to all kinds of influences outside of the home, especially when the mom cannot control them. And unfortunately, that you see them, you know, looking at their colleagues, especially those that are into fraudulent activities, and they want to be like them. And then of course on the social media too, sometimes some of the things that we portray on national TV give the youth the sense that, oh, you know what, you just essentially can do what it takes to whatever it takes, right? It doesn't matter whether it is you know um, legal or not, to get to that lifestyle, to get the lifestyle that they see on TV. So some of them feel the need to just get into just about anything. Whereas youth themselves do have a blame. They can choose to be different. Um, I mean, many of us. I mean, when you look around the society that we have in Nigeria, not everybody can actually claim to have been raised with a silver spoon. We all have challenges. I can tell you that. I was raised in, an average family. And again, just knowing exactly what you want for yourself in terms of, positive role models. I mean, look, you can choose to be what you want. So that child too, that youth, can look at people that they want to be like, that are successful in their field, and just aspire to be like those people. And I think with the advent, because I always tell the young people that I mentor, and I mentor quite a lot, that these days they are lucky. They are lucky. They're very fortunate to have the internet,
Yes.
at their, they have access to that. So we never had anything
Yes.
like that. So they have the entire world pretty much at their fingertips. They just need to think right, and choose to do the right thing, be upright citizens, and again, just planning their way um, ahead of time. And things would definitely work out for them. Unfortunately, a lot of people wait until when they do need that thing, and then it's a little bit too late,
And
to
then,
get it.
so because they fail to plan. So just as you
Yes,
said
yes,
earlier,
exactly,
in failing to plan
exactly.
for the long term, you then have to cut corners in the
You
short term quickly because you are
absolutely,
looking for it
absolutely,
quickly. So
and
that's
that's it.
that's why that's why we're doing this. That's why this initiative started to to redefine what success is. And because largely culturally now it's now a culture of materialism in Africa and Nigeria particularly, where you have the success tied always to materialism. So a person who can flaunt wealth at a party is considered successful,
Yeah,
unlike someone who is doing laudable things in their career, who are making landmark achievements and starting
absolutely.
innovations that can change lives. So that's why we're having this conversation. For someone like you who's done exceptionally well, and exceptionally well in the field of clinical research. Can you share some strategies, first of all, or some of the risks that you faced, some challenges that you had in your field of practice, and the strategies that you used to combat them?
All right. So again, with that kind of question, to be honest with you, for me, it's often challenging to find areas of risk, because again, there's always that forward planning. But for an average person, I think a lot of times, when you know exactly what you want, what field you want to go to. In my case, I did. I had the option of going in, to study medicine or even engineering for that matter. But because I knew exactly what I wanted, I want to, I've always wanted to be in research. But at the time that I was planning to go into the university in high school, I wasn't exactly sure what kind of research it was going to be. So but I wanted something that could impact the lives of people. So whether as a patient or even as individual, as healthy people. So I knew it's got to be research, but what path to take was something I had to figure out. So of course, medicine was an option. I just wanted to stay within the clinical arena. So, but do I want, I didn't particularly want, that bedside, career, patient side, clinical career.
You
So
don't
I
want,
wanted
you don't want
something.
to see blood.
Well, I mean, I actually had no issue seeing blood because I saw enough of it while I was in med school. But I
Okay.
wanted something more, something, you know, different. I've always wanted to search for something different, So I had the option of medicine or perhaps even pharmacy. But this is what you have just about everyone doing. So I'm thinking there must be something different. So I stumbled on pharmacology. At the time, I had no clue what that was. So but I've always had this flair for just getting in and researching and finding out, things out, and that really did help. Even though, yes, we didn't have internet during my days, but I was able to, go into the libraries and do a little bit of research about what it's all about, and it did happen to be exactly what I wanted. You know, I want to be able to work with, behind the scenes. All right, to impact the lives of patients. You understand, and that's why I chose pharmacology. And bear in mind also before going into College of Medicine, University of Lagos, I had spent some time at Yaba College of Technology. So and I stayed within that same clinical related course.
Of
So that's
course.
how I started, and I have I have not regretted it. So but with regards to getting into countries abroad, I knew for a fact that, okay, pharmacology, I really couldn't do much with it other than maybe become a medical sales rep. So I figured, okay, you know what, I can get to do that because I have the skill set, because I was involved in all kinds of extracurricular. KB Club was one of a few clubs that I was part of, and I gained a lot of personal skills, business skills, because you learn, you're trained, on how to handle things, at the business level in these clubs at the school university level. So all of this, helped in kind of channeling my thoughts towards what I really want to do. So I figured, okay, you know what? While I'm planning to go into the university, where do I really want to go? I honestly wasn't even interested in the US. I wasn't necessarily interested in the UK, but I wanted Canada because I figured Canada, at the time, ranks one of the top countries to go to if you want to really go to a very good school. So I kind of planned everything along the way, and like I said, everything seemed to kind of fall in place because I planned for it a lot earlier, and I've spent a lot of time actually talking to youth. Even while I was in school, I was the president of the departmental association, and I will talk to students that are just coming in from Akoka, when we were in Diaraba, to let them know, look, this is what I found out about this. I mean, even, I think I found out a little bit more about what pharmacology could do, the marketability of pharmacology. It's enough to say you want to, go for a course. You want to know what that course will do for you once you graduate. So I want to get that information, which I really couldn't get from even some of the lecturers that that taught me. Um, I think I was told anyway that I was one of the very few person who would, for example, come into Idiaraba when I was at, because in Unilag you have to be at the main campus for 1 year before you can then cross into the College of Medicine. But during that year, I actually went into Idiaraba, into the department that I was going to go to, just to ask questions from the lecturers. And some of them were like, that's unusual. That they've never seen someone come who has not even come here yet, come ask questions. So again, it really speaks to you know, wanting that thing so much that you find out everything you want to find about it. And then with that information, I mean, of course, information is power. You're able to then rearrange plans as you go forward. So that's how I've really been able to go through the whole process almost seamlessly. I mean, of course, don't get me wrong. Being a student wasn't exactly the easiest of things.
Easy.
Everyone have their own moments, and I did because I had my hands in many things. So but I like to do that because it's not just about learning education. There are other things that you can learn to help you succeed. So that's how I've actually been able to do
So
it. So far.
two major strategies I can hear from you is one, that one, is not a matter of a question, is pre-planning. You have to have a
Yes,
plan. But then
it's
from what you just talked about, being able to go to schools even before you got admitted, asking questions, knowing the fault, knowing what exactly is ahead, information and hunger for success, and then being able to use that information to plan. And I hope those listening can, pick this out. This is what I've noticed. I would also apply in my personal life is to have questions ahead